hospital, one of the hospital wards, and it was in here that I had my first experience after starting as a tour guide. When I did my training, I followed a couple of other tour guides around at different times, and I'd heard a couple of them say that sometimes when they were talking about a particular nurse, that someone came and stood behind them. And anyway, on my very early times, I had a group here, and I thought I'll use that line. So I said, sometimes when we're talking about the nurses, one of them will come and stand behind us. And I said, can anyone see a shadowy outline of someone standing behind me? And there was a lady standing beside this bed, and she said, it's not a shadowy outline, it's a lady in a nurse's uniform. And I, at that stage, realised that I was getting pins and needles, goosebumps, I call them the tingles, from the back of my head down to behind my knees. So I carried on talking. I looked around, I couldn't see anything. I carried on talking, and then in the middle of a sentence, I just looked at the lady and I said, is she still there? And she said, yes. And I was still getting the tingles. Carried on for a little bit, and then the tingles stopped. And just as the tingles stopped, the lady over here said, oh, she's gone. So it was at that time that I realised that she was seeing what I was feeling, or I was feeling what she was seeing. The point is, since then, I take that as a signal to me when I start to get the tingles that there is an entity around, and that I can normally rely on that. And it's amazing the number of times when I do get the tingles that someone else will say that there's something else going on in here. Now, more recently, I had a group in here one night, and I said that I could feel the nurse behind me. And then I said, oh, I think she's moved away because the tingles had stopped. And a few seconds later, there was a gentleman sitting on that bed over in the corner. And he said, she's over here now. And I said, how do you know? He said, I don't know, but I just know she's here. And he said, I can tell you some funny things. He said, I know it's a nurse, but I can't see anything. But he said, I know that she knows I'm a soldier. Now, this ward, this hospital, during the Spanish influenza pandemic was full of soldiers. And he said, I know that she knows I'm a soldier. He said, I'm not in uniform, but she knows I am a soldier. Now, a couple of weeks later, I told that story, and there were two girls sitting on this bed up in the corner, and they jumped off the bed and came and stood over here, and I said, what's wrong? They said, she was standing in front of us tonight. And I said, I wonder why she went over there. They said, we'll tell you, we're in the Navy. We're not in uniform, but she knew we were in the Navy. So some of the things that we do pick up with the entities, it must go through our subconscious, and we don't realise just how much we are picking up because it doesn't ever, or maybe our conscious mind doesn't accept it. But it does add to what we often tell people, that your subconscious will pick up far more than you will in your conscious mind.